The vomit was red. Not food, not bile, something deeper, something that didn't belong in an 8-year-old boy. He lay on the hospital bed, skin pale, his chest rattling with shallow breaths. Tubes threaded into his arms. Machines screamed warnings I tried not to hear. The doctor's face told me more than his words ever could. His voice, low, unsteady. This isn't just a sick stomach. The room tilted. The floor felt like it was gone. I had left him overnight. One night. At his grandmother's house. A routine thing. She always insisted. Said a boy needed his real family. Now he was slipping through my hands, and all I could think was, what had she done? When the doctor walked away, I sat in silence. My son's hand in mine. Warm, but too fragile. I thought about the morning. The way he refused to smile. His eyes downcast, hollow. He had clung to my arm when I picked him up, like he'd been waiting for me to rescue him. Then, 10 minutes later, he collapsed. Coincidence doesn't look like that. I replayed her smile. My mother-in-law. The way she kissed his forehead as she handed him over. Too sweet, too rehearsed. And I remembered her words from months ago. He looks nothing like you. Said with that little smirk. Said when she thought I wasn't listening. My wife had laughed it off, but it had stuck, coiled in my mind. And now, watching my son's frail chest rise and fall, I began to wonder if this was more than cruelty, if it was strategy, not just poisoning, something worse, something meant to strip away not only his life, but mine. I started quietly. When my wife cried in the waiting room, I walked the halls. I asked questions. Blood work, toxicology. Quiet discussions with a nurse who hesitated before speaking. Traces of something in his system, bitter, metallic, not food, not natural. I didn't rage, I didn't accuse. I listened. I remembered. The times my mother-in-law insisted on being alone with him. The way she would hold his face, scanning his features like she was searching for answers. The way she whispered in his ear when she thought no one could hear. At home, I checked the trash. Empty pill bottles, her prescriptions, half hidden, dosages scratched out. Then the pieces aligned. This wasn't random. This wasn't just poison. This was a test. A test meant to prove something she had always suspected. Something she wanted me to see. That he wasn't mine. The results came back 2 days later. My son stabilized, though weak. The doctor spoke carefully. The substance, it's not common. A controlled medication used in high doses. It would have to be deliberate. I asked for another test, not of his blood, of his DNA, against mine. The envelope was heavy when it arrived. My hand trembled, but my face remained stone. The answer was printed in black and white. Probability of paternity, 0%. I sat in the sterile hospital chair, the world silent except for the faint hum of machines. Not mine. The boy who called me father. The boy I carried in my arms last night. The boy whose hand still searched for mine even in sleep. Not mine. I folded the paper. My chest felt hollow, but my mind sharpened. This wasn't his fault. It was theirs. My wife, her mother. Together they had written this lie and fed it to me for 8 years. And now, the truth belonged to me. That evening, I walked into the hospital room where my wife sat by his bed. Her eyes were red. "He needs us," she whispered. I placed the folded report on the table. Quiet, controlled. She reached for it, read, and froze. Her lips trembled. I can explain." "No." The words sliced the air. She turned to me, desperate. It was a mistake, years ago, but he still—" I leaned in close, my voice calm but edged with steel. "He's not mine, but he is hers." And she made sure I knew. Her face drained of color. She understood. I stood, walked toward the door. You and your mother gave me a son built on lies. Now you can live with the truth. I didn't shout, I didn't strike. I left her drowning in silence with the boy she had used to chain me. That night, I sat outside the hospital under the yellow glow of the lamps. I thought about the boy, his laughter, his drawings, his trust. None of that was a lie. Not to him. He was innocent. He was a victim, just like me. But my love for him was poisoned by their deception. Every smile now carried a shadow. Every memory a fracture. I wasn't angry anymore, just emptied. They wanted me bound by blood. Instead, they severed it. When the sun rose, I stood, feeling lighter than I should have. The world was quiet. I knew what had to come next. Divorce, restraining orders, papers that cut cleaner than knives. No reconciliation, no forgiveness, just revelation. They tried to bury me under lies, but in the end, I buried them under truth and walked away with nothing.